So a lot of people ask me, hey Robin, what are the most important nodes I can use in my AI agents? So I will show you in this video which are my top 9 nodes in n8n and how you can implement them as well. So if you comment down below AI, I will send you this JSON file of this n8n canvas, so you can basically have the explanation also within your n8n. So let's dive in. So the first one, it's a webhook node. So basically a webhook will make sure that you can gather data from other sources. The workflow will be triggered if in another tool, in another software package, a webhook is activated. Think about your 11 Labs conversational agent that only triggers based on a webhook. So what you want to do, if you open it, you have your path. You can do, for example, 11 Labs, and this is the URL you need to set into 11 Labs to make sure that the webhook is connected to your other source. So this way you can communicate within your n8n workflow to other tools. The next one, which is a little bit the same as the webhook, only a little bit harder, is a HTTP request. I use HTTP requests a lot to get information from certain tools that have a API. So what you want to do, if you open it, you have a get. That way you will get some data from a tool, but you also can post data to a tool. So a lot of APIs have a API URL. Think about the different tools you have. It will be, for example, pipedrive.com, and they have a URL for the API. And then you can basically add variables of what you want to push or get from the API you are connected with. So another way to make sure that you gather data from other sources is using Apify. And Apify is basically a tool that makes sure that you can scrape certain variables. So think about TikTok scraper, an Instagram scraper, a Google Maps scraper. They have a lot of different scrapers already built in, and you can basically connect with Apify and get data from those sources. So think about you want to scrape Google Maps to search for certain prospects or leads. There you can say, all right, in your n8n workflow, you connect it to the Google Maps scraper and you will get the data straight into your workflow. All you need to do is add your Apify account, the actor, the operation is run an actor, and you have a list of actors you already used. And that's how you can basically get these scrapers from Apify. So the next one, which is pretty important, but I think also if you ever worked with n8n before, you have used this node already. It's the AI agent node. This node will let you connect LLMs, large language models, in your workflow and send prompts or data to other nodes. So what you can do is you can basically add a user message or user prompt. So which information or what is the question from the user. And you have system prompts. That is basically the task of the agent. How you also use it in, for example, ChatGPT. So you can set up an AI agent here. Few things you need to take on consideration. You need a chat model. So you can add basically every LLM you want. Claude, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, depending on the task you want to do. You need memory if you also have a chatbot implementation within your AI agent. And you can add tools to give the AI agent more information. So for example, you can add a Google Sheet and you refer to this Google Sheet in your AI agent prompt and say, hey, this is my database of leads, for example, that are in Google Sheets. Always look in that data first to give a certain output. And there's a lot of different connections you can already make or add to your AI agent over here. So now we're going a little bit more into the data transformation part. So if you're using n8n before, if you build AI agents, you recognize that a lot of data that you will get from other sources will not be that optimized for your agent. So I like to use the AI transform tool because I do not have a very in-depth knowledge of coding, and I can basically say merge first name and last name together. what it will do, and now it's not connected, but it will generate a JavaScript code that you can use within your workflow. So this is the way you can merge, filter, combine, or change data based on JavaScript. But with the AI transform tool, it will make it easy, basically easy for you. So now we have the edit fields. I like this one because it will basically get you more organized. So if you are outputting a certain data set or you are pushing data to a specific tool, you can basically map name and values in a structured way so that the next node has the data all set up and ready to use there. So the next one I like to use a lot is OpenRouter. So OpenRouter is basically a tool where all LLMs are already connected. So what you can do is you don't have to get all your API keys from the different sources and add it to your n8n. No, you have one API account and you can basically add all the different LLMs to your AI agent. So if you open it up, you will see I have my OpenRouter account connected and you see all the LLMs over here. So you can easily switch through the different LLMs to see, all right, is the output getting better? So for example, should I use Claude or Gemini for writing content? You can change it up and see, all right, what is the best LLM to use? And you won't have to add a lot of different APIs to n8n. So the next one is Google Sheets. So I don't only like Google Sheets because it will put the data in a sheet. It's always also good for testing purposes and to monitor certain output. So for example, if I use Apify to scrape Instagram, I can see the output within n8n. But what I also can do is I can push it to a Google Sheet in between the next node to make sure that I can see the data clearly. I can filter it and see, all right, what do I need or what do I don't need, to make sure that everything is basically filtered at the right way. And then later on in production, I can deactivate the Google Sheet node to make sure that it runs easily or faster. But for testing purposes, I really like to add the Google Sheet node, where you can basically create new rows based on your data to clearly see, all right, what kind of data do I have here? And then the last one, it's not a Telegram node, it's the human in the loop node. So a lot of people are not using this, but you can basically add a human in the loop and it will send a approval message to Discord or Gmail, Google Chat, Slack, Telegram, basically these tools already. So you can add the plus sign and you say human in the loop and you can add a node here. So what it is basically doing is if you connect it to each other, or let's say do it this way, I have information over here, basically maybe an Apify scraper, and it will send the information first to Telegram, and I will see it in Telegram, and I can say approve, and when I click approve, the workflow will push to the next node and then put it all in the Google Sheet. So you have your own human in the loop to make sure that everything works fine. I like to do this a lot with, for example, sending emails, replying on emails automatically with AI. Most of the time I will implement a human in the loop to make sure the message is good before it will be sent out. So you won't have to log into your n8n account. You will get a message and you can basically click approve on that. I also often use it with social media posts. So I'll get a message with an X post from my AI agent and I will say, all right, approve, and then it will be uploaded to X, for example. So these are the 9 most important nodes. I already have some extra, but for now, these are nodes that I'm basically using in a lot of my AI agents. So if you have any questions or if you like this JSON file, please comment AI below. Thank you very much for watching and speak soon.